If James Corden were a seasoning, he'd be salt on everything, whether you asked for it or not. From late-night talk shows to cereal ads and even sheep-clogged country roads, Corden is everywhere. One of his most infamous moments, a UK car insurance ad where he parts a herd of sheep like a B-list Moses, proudly declaring himself the sheep whisperer. Why? We're still not sure. The commercial aired so often, viewers started whispering to their remotes in protest. To his credit, Corden later admitted fame had gone to his head like a helium balloon. His family even staged a sit-down, urging him to try therapy because apparently, it was not just the sheep that needed whispering to. The not-so-carpool karaoke revelation. What started as a delightful concept, James Corden driving around with celebrities singing pop hits, turned out to be more stagecraft than spontaneity. Fans were shocked to learn that in many cases, the car in Carpool Karaoke was not being driven at all. Instead, it was being towed. Yes, James wasn't really driving. Cue collective betrayal. To make matters worse, Corden often interrupts guests mid-verse just to make a joke or out-sing them. It's as if the whole thing is more about James showing off his vocal chops than getting fans insight into their favorite stars. What began as a charming segment now lives in that awkward space between fun and fox. One might say it's less karaoke and more kara-nope. The restaurant rumbles and airborne antics. James Corden's name has become somewhat synonymous with stories of diva behavior, particularly when it comes to restaurants. Multiple servers and customers have reported less than flattering experiences with him, ranging from alleged rudeness to meltdowns over food orders. One infamous claim came from Balthazar restaurant owner Keith McNally, who briefly banned Corden from the establishment. The reason? Corden allegedly berated staff over an omelette. Yes, an omelette. Then there was the airplane incident, an unconfirmed but often circulated tale in which Corden reportedly ignored his fellow passengers and flight crew alike while behaving like the in-flight entertainment no one asked for. Though these claims are unverified, the sheer volume of them is enough to raise eyebrows and probably some spatulas. The comedy that missed its cue. While Corden is labeled a comedian, many critics argue that his humor lands with all the grace of a cow on roller skates. His jokes have a tendency to miss the mark, particularly when he's trying to be edgy. Take his 2017 Weinstein joke fiasco. During an AIDS benefit gala, Corden made tone-deaf jokes about disgraced film producer Harvey Weinstein. What he thought was boundary-pushing comedy was quickly seen by many as insensitive and inappropriate. Actress Rose McGowan, one of Weinstein's accusers, called him a mother piglet. Ouch, and led the charge against the joke of a host. Corden did later apologize, claiming his intention was to shame Weinstein, not his victims. Unfortunately, in comedy, intent matters less than impact, and this impact hit like a brick in a punchline. The fame game. If there were an award for accepting the most random projects, James Corden would have a shelf full of gold by now. From failed sitcoms to cringe-worthy film roles, Corden appears to have a say yes to everything policy. We have seen him in the Emoji Movie, Lesbian Vampire Killers, and of course, the cinematic disaster that was Cats. At some point, fans began to wonder if he was secretly completing a bingo card of bad decisions. His eagerness to stay in the spotlight has led to criticism that he values exposure over quality. And let's be honest, when the phrase "Corden cast again" trends on Twitter, it's rarely followed by joy. Acting out in more ways than one. Corden began with promise. His role as Smithy in Gavin and Stacey was well-loved, showcasing his comedic timing and genuine likability. But as his fame grew, his acting choices took a nosedive straight into stereotype territory. In The Prom, Corden played a flamboyantly gay Broadway star, a performance that many critics labeled as offensive and reliant on outdated cliches. And in Cats, well, let's just say you haven't truly cringed until you've seen a CGI Corden in feline form singing about garbage. Despite some genuinely decent performances in his earlier career, his recent roles have left audiences scratching their heads and reaching for the remote. The Patrick Stewart Showdown. One of Corden's most infamous moments came in 2010 at the Glamour Women of the Year Awards. Acting as the host, Corden exchanged verbal jabs with none other than Sir Patrick Stewart. The issue? Stewart accused Corden of being disrespectful by standing at the back of the stage with his hands in his pockets, seemingly uninterested. Rather than diffusing the situation, Corden doubled down, trying to turn it into a roast. What followed was an awkward public spat that painted him as immature and snide rather than witty. When Captain Picard puts you in your place and the crowd agrees, it's time for a rethink, not a retort. Hollywood's nice guy mask starts to slip. James Corden has spent years polishing his public image as the charming, self-deprecating Brit next door, the guy who could share a pint with you at the pub and belt out Adele in traffic. But behind the scenes, cracks have started to show. Podcaster and writer Jack Allison alleged that Corden pushed for lower pay at a Writers Guild meeting, not exactly earning an applause from the late-night scribes. Corden denied it, but the rumor stuck like glitter at a children's birthday party. Adding fuel to the fire, he's been called out for interrupting guests on his show, often steering conversations back to himself faster than a Tesla on autopilot. For someone in the business of spotlighting others, he sure seems to hog it like a stage-hungry disco ball. Industry insiders have hinted that the nice guy charm might just be another character, less authentic Brit, more corporate mascot. As his halo tilts and that smile starts to feel a bit rehearsed, fans and critics alike are left wondering, is the real James Corden less Carpool Karaoke and more backstage diva? Celebrities versus Corden. If awkward celebrity beefs were a reality show, James Corden would be a recurring guest star. He's managed to rub more famous elbows the wrong way than a clumsy waiter at the Oscars. His list of critics reads like a bizarre dinner party guest list. Ricky Gervais, no surprise. Bill Maher, also not surprising. Artie Lang, Liam Gallagher, Asia Argento, and even Pierce Brosnan, yes, James Bond himself. That's like getting dissed by a martini. Shaken, not stirred. Rose McGowan has publicly clashed with him twice, which makes you wonder what kind of vibe he's putting out at Hollywood mixers. These are not random encounters either, when such a wide array of people from different circles are all saying the same thing. It's probably not just showbiz gossip. Maybe it's his humor. Maybe it's the ego. Maybe it's just too many car rides with Coldplay. Whatever it is, if Corden were a high schooler, he'd definitely be voted most likely to get uninvited from the group chat. Why do so many people hate James Corden? Let's get to the heart of the matter. Why has James Corden become such a lightning rod for public ire? It's not one thing, it's the whole Corden cocktail. It's the overexposure, the tone-deaf jokes, the flopped films, the backstage rumors, and the uncanny ability to turn every opportunity into the James Corden shoutum. There's a sense that Corden's public image as the friendly everyman doesn't align with who he is when the cameras stop rolling. And perhaps worst of all, he keeps getting cast in high-profile projects despite near-universal audience pushback. When a petition was created just to keep him out of the Wicked movie adaptation, it didn't feel mean-spirited, it felt like a desperate plea from a worn-out public. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the curious case of James Corden, give this video a thumbs up. Got thoughts, hot takes, or a sheep whisperer memory to share? Drop it in the comments below. Don't forget to subscribe for more pop culture breakdowns, celebrity drama, and the occasional musical rant. Hit that notification bell so you never miss a moment of the madness. Thanks for watching. Until next time, keep your karaoke real and your omelettes calm.